Good afternoon, everybody. This is week 14 with the 770G, and today I wanted to focus on carb counting. So this week with my pump, I have been, if you're following along on my other dieting videos, I have been trying to eat a little better and cut back on my eating kind of altogether. This week, I've been doing better with the less eating. However, I've been eating a couple things that I probably shouldn't have. I've had ice cream a couple times, and I know that's a bad thing. But I wanted to, that kind of made me think about the importance of carb counting, especially when we're carb counting and we're in auto mode. So I wanted to dive on that a lot this week. Please remember, I am not a medical professional. I am sharing these tips and tricks for other diabetics who kind of can monitor themselves. If you have any questions about anything that I'm saying, please take that up with your care team. That's just as simple as that. Just providing tips and tricks on how I've kind of manage myself. Anytime I do run into a problem, I have both nurses and my doctor's number, and I quickly contact them and discuss my issue. So with that moving forward, your carb ratio, as discussed in the week 13 video, is how many units of insulin it takes for your body to be able to control 1 gram of carbs, is the easiest way for me to put it. So for example, if you're eating, I'm going to use this granola bar here. This granola bar on the back of the package, one serving size is 1 package, and it's a total of 21 grams of carbs. So your carb ratio is how many units of insulin per gram of carbs, So how many grams of carbs per 1 unit of insulin is the best way to explain that. So for example, I am going to go into my pump and I'm going to enter in 21 grams of carbs next, and that would be 6 units of insulin for me. Sorry, it's backwards because I'm using the front-facing camera. Sorry. But here's one thing that we have to look at too. When you use your bolus wizard, you need to enter in what your BG currently is. So let me go back and look. So my BG is 141. So if I enter in 141 and then 21, that number could be different. It might not be because my sugar's under 150, but let's see. Oh, it's the same, 6 units. But what that bolus wizard is doing is it's thinking, okay, here's what our BG is. Here's what we're fixing to eat in carbs. Let's make sure both of these, let's get an insulin total that will bring us back to where we are. So to make sure that you have an accurate carb ratio, I just woke up and I am working on night. So as you can see, my graph is kind of flat. It's been steady. Haven't had any alarms or any problems throughout the night. I really have enjoyed the no alarms because my 670G, I woke up all the time. But anyway, back to the point. So let's say if I wanted to see how my carb ratio was, I'm going to get something like this. I haven't really eaten anything since dinner last night. I'm going to program for 21 grams of carbs. I'm going to wait about 15 or 20 minutes before I actually eat it. That gives the insulin time to get in my system. And if my carb ratio is correct, I should have a slight rise in my blood sugar, but it should come back to about where my blood sugar is currently. It could be just a hair lower. That's not that big of a deal. If it is significantly lower, then your carb ratio could be too aggressive. Now, with that being said, pumps that are using auto mode, the 670G, 770G, and 780G, auto mode thinks a little differently. So I'm going to explain this, and then I'm going to insert a clip from my MiniMed Connect app from last night's dinner so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let me stop. Okay, so as we're looking at this clip from my MiniMed Connect app, I want you guys to see I first bolused. My sugar stayed steady, but look at the top of the graph. There's no micro boluses at first. So then an hour or so goes by, and I do my second bolus, and you can see there's still not really many micro boluses. There's a few, and then as my sugar starts to rise, those micro boluses start to occur more often, even though I'm still kind of bolus into, I'm counting all of my carbs for what we had for dinner last night, and putting that all in the pump. So what you got to look out for, if your sugar is steady, your carb ratio sometimes needs to be a little more aggressive, because you're not going to get that steady supply of insulin that your body's used to when you're in a manual mode on a pump. So for example, if I were to take my 770G out of auto mode and set up normal basal rates, and let's say I got 5 units of insulin an hour, I'm going to always get that 5 units of insulin per hour regardless of if I've eaten or not. Whereas in auto mode, it's trying not to cause a low, so it's going to slow down that basal to see how your body handles the insulin that was given in your bolus for your food. If your sugars start to drop, then auto mode is not going to give you any insulin to prevent you from going extremely low or having any medical problems. But if your sugars start to rise, then auto mode will slowly ramp up its insulin delivery to try to correct that high. But if your carb ratio is totally out of whack and not where it's supposed to be, you could always go high when you eat, and auto mode's not going to be able to correct it. You're gonna stay high, and you're gonna constantly be getting these alarms because the pump is giving you more insulin than it thinks it should. So an accurate carb ratio on top of an accurate active carb counting helps auto mode significantly. So if I wish that I could eat things out of a package all the time that have the carbs on them, but that's not feasible. We go out to eat in restaurants and stuff like that, and it takes our best judgment. There are several apps that you can use. Calorie King, I got their book when I was originally diagnosed. They have an app. It's very basic, but it does serve a good purpose for kind of searching through restaurants and finding certain items that you want to kind of total it up. The other app, Fat Secret, that somebody mentioned in a Facebook group, is a little bit more customizable. I like that app because I can search Chipotle and then go through and select, okay, I want a chicken bowl, and every item I put on it, and it gives me an accurate carb counting for my whole bowl, customized the way that I want it. So I do like that one for that reason. So, there are other options out there. Those are the two that I have on my phone all the time and that I like to use. I am a frequent flyer at the same restaurant, so I don't necessarily use the apps all the time. I have an idea for what I'm going to eat and how many carbs that's going to be, and that's okay. But we just have to remember to stay on top of our carb counting, because if we're not doing that accurately, or our carb ratio is not set up correctly, then the auto mode feature in our pumps isn't going to work correctly. The auto mode on the 670G and the 770G is not able to correct a high. The user has to do that. So if we didn't carb count correctly and our sugar's staying around 200, if you noticed, it's going to stay about where it's around 200 consistently. It might slowly come down over a long period of time, but that's going to be about the maximum that the pump can do. If you want your blood sugar to come down quicker, you're going to have to intervene and do a correction, or you're going to have to do a correction. If you didn't program from enough carbs, you're going to have to program for some more carbs, so that way you'll get that extra insulin that you need to bring it down. Now, with that being said, it's not good to program fake carbs. So if I ate this 21 gram of carbs granola bar, and an hour and a half later, my sugar's at 200, and my active insulin is slowly going away, and my graph's not looking like my sugar is going to come down, I don't need to program in additional carbs for this, because I know this was 21 grams of carbs. That's a key flag for you guys to know that, hey, something's not set up 100% correctly. So I kind of hope that this video helps bring some light to auto mode and how it functions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below, or you can shoot me a private message on my Facebook page, Justin the Diabetic. Either one, I don't mind. It just kind of depends on if you want your questions seen to the world. If you do, then you can comment on YouTube. That's fine. If not, you can send me a direct message. That's fine with me. As far as comments go on YouTube, I will tell everybody they kind of come in waves. Over the past 2 days, I think I got like almost 20 something comments, and I get email notifications, so that's kind of a problem because I read them there and then I forget to switch over to the app and respond. But I am current on all the responses, whether or not you're just saying thanks for the video, I say thanks for the support, or different things to kind of interact with everybody. And I'm trying to do that because you guys are taking the time to interact with me and watch my videos. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. That definitely helps make my videos more seen in the YouTube world. They pop up in suggestions for others. So with you guys liking the videos and subscribing, that helps other diabetics see them when they're kind of searching for diabetic related material on YouTube. So I hope everybody has a great weekend and enjoys their week coming up. If you've been following along with my diet, please stay tuned with that. That video will be posted at lunch on Mondays. That's Central Time, sorry. And these weekly updates with the 770G will also be posted at lunchtime Central Time on Fridays. So I hope you guys stay tuned, and I hope to see you guys again. Y'all have a good week.